The Entrepreneurial Journey Podcast. We're talking business and building a culture that's kick-ass. Where we make it happen, grab your seat, let's have a blast. At the Entrepreneurial Journey Podcast.
If you love the entrepreneurial journey, how about subscribing and giving us a 5-star review? Wherever you get your podcasts, follow or subscribe and give us a positive review so more entrepreneurs out there don't need to feel alone. Thanks. Hello and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Journey podcast. Today I have Shirah Benarde with me. Hello, Shirah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. Shirah is the CEO and co-founder of NightCap. Now, Shirah, what does NightCap do? What is it? Explain all.
Yes, of course. So NightCap is a drink spiking prevention company, and the original product is a scrunchie that can be worn on your wrist or in your hair. And when you go out to the bar, it actually doubles as a drink cover. So there's a little pocket inside the scrunchie that holds a cover. And when you go to a festival or a party or a bar, you can take this cover out of the scrunchie, put it over your drink, pop in a straw, and it's reusable and washable. And I thought of the idea of this scrunchie after I had a friend that was roofied. I was only 16 at the time, and she was a college friend, but a few weeks later, I went to bed one night and I thought of the idea in a dream when I was sleeping. And then I kind of unfolded from there.
Wow. Well, okay. So first of all, a really important product. And second of all, what were the outcomes for your friend? Was she okay?
Yes, my friend was definitely ended up being okay, but having the company for the past 5 years, it's not only my friend that I know now that has been roofied, it's literally thousands of people and thousands of stories that we hear, people that have been victims of drink spiking and, use our product and couldn't go out before without it. And they're just super happy that there's something out there now that's super convenient to use. And we're not trying to scare people into using the product. We try and create fun solutions to a really serious problem, for people to feel comfortable using our products and feel safer when going out and, wanting to have fun in sometimes a scary world. So yeah, that's the goal of NightCap.
You do make it fun. I looked at your website and you've got loads of products and they're really nice looking products. You're absolutely right. You would go out and use those products and feel really comfortable using them. They're part of your outfit almost, a lot of them, aren't they? Which is really smart. And it made me very sad that they were necessary. Part of your marketing is about how many thousands of, is it mainly women and girls that are using it, or do some men use it?
Yeah, so from the scrunchie, we realized that, not everybody is a female that wants to use a scrunchie. Some people want the option to have more unisex version, or, some people there's men out there getting roofied. We realized that this doesn't just happen to women. So we kind of took the scrunchie and made it a unisex version. So we created like a keychain version of it where you can actually have this cover that goes onto your keys. And from there, we have these 2 reusable products, and we're like, okay, now we need to find something that's more disposable. So anyone can use it at a music festival or at, a big venue. So we created, we got the rights actually from the UK to distribute a certain product we have called Stop Top. So it's actually a sticker product. So they're stickers that go on your drink and they're easy to use. You throw them out when you're done. We can put them like QR codes on them for, different universities to customize or put menus on them. Just get creative with them. And then we went from like that to beer bottle tops. And pretty much the goal was no matter who you are and what you're drinking, like we've got you covered. So no, it doesn't just happen to women. And it's a huge problem with men. And a lot of the times the intention is to rob them. So if you're a man and you're wearing like a nice outfit or a nice watch, like you can definitely be a target of drink spiking just because, people can see that. People know that your jewelry is expensive, and you know, if they spike your drink, you aren't in control of anything anymore. So there's been a huge problem, I think, in especially Atlanta, where people were going around targeting men, rich men, and stealing their wallets and using their face IDs to get into their bank accounts.
Oh my God.
It's a huge, huge problem. Yeah, it's definitely something that I think men don't think will happen to them. So it's definitely something we like to spread awareness on, just because if you're more aware that something could happen to you, you're more careful in general. And, you know, I feel like when I'm just around talking to people about NightCap in my personal life, they look at me and they're like, well, I'm not a young girl like you, so it's not going to happen. And I just want to be like, that's not true. So we try to just spread awareness and talk about like all the possible scenarios and the reality of the problem.
Yeah, no, it hadn't even occurred to me. I thought, you know, it might happen to men on the dating scene, but it hadn't even occurred to me that it would happen to men who, you know, maybe wearing a Rolex, like you say, or just looked wealthy, that they would be spanked to be robbed. That's wow, you learn something new every day. All right, so this is a fascinating product. And yeah, I was aware of something in the UK. So it's really interesting that you've got a UK-US link here. When did the business start? And kind of where are you up to now with the business? Because I believe you started with your mum's, you call it in America, pantyhose. Over here, we call it tights.
Yeah. Now I call it stockings because people get confused with the name pantyhose. So I call it stockings now. Okay. But yeah, the morning I woke up from having the dream, I immediately wanted to actually create it physically, because I sat down with my dad, and instead of trying to explain it to him, I just created one, you know, with the resources I had in my house. So I ran upstairs to my mom's closet, grabbed her stockings and an old scrunchie from my room, and I taped them together, and I like put them on the cup, and I tried to like shape them and fit them how my dream, like how I was thinking of it in my head. When I put it on the cup, my dad was like, this is actually a really great idea, you know, either nightcap or top hat. And I was like, oh, I like the name NightCap. So we went with NightCap, and then we found a graphic designer to create a couple of the first logos, a seamstress to create prototypes, sat down with a patent attorney to protect our invention, and just took those first couple steps to initially get it off the ground. You know, I had no idea what I was doing, neither did family. Like, I don't come from entrepreneurs. We were just like, okay, what do we do with this? And those are the first couple things we started to do. And eventually my brother was going to college at the time at Florida State, and he came home and he saw my prototype, and he was like, this is something that happens all the time on my college campus, and there's nothing out there that helps anyone. So he basically dropped everything to help me start the company. And we have been co-founders together for the last 5 years now. So he's on the operations side, I'm more on the marketing and sales side, and we split it up pretty much evenly. And like, we just work very well together because I think we're just very good at different things. So without him, I'm not sure what I would be doing, but best business partner. Don't tell him I said that.
But I work with my brother as well. So
really?
Yeah. He's older than me. Is your brother older than you then?
Yeah, 5 years. What about you?
Yeah. 3 years gap between us. But I'm in charge, and that's okay.
Yes, I love that.
Same for you. And he brings very different things to the party. What I like about working with my brother, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is we can have brutally honest conversations with each other.
No, yeah, for sure. And I think it's super important. Like, also, we started this company so young that like, I personally had to develop as a person in order to realize what was going on in the company. Like, I know now that the last like 2 years, I realized, okay, this is how he works. And this is how, you have to realize their patterns too, so you can know when to check in on them. And like, you grow up thinking your parents know absolutely everything. I feel like it was the same for my brother. So I was like, oh, he knows everything. He's, he's just perfect. He knows everything. But you realize like, okay, this is how they work. So you have to follow those patterns. And it's so interesting to like observe that and like realize how to work with your sibling. It's really cool because, we also have brutally honest conversations, and we work very well together as siblings. And as kids, we definitely didn't. So, I was always trying to annoy him. So I never always wanted his attention. Never got it.
No, same. I was the annoying little sister, the epitome of an annoying little sister, definitely. Isn't that funny? Okay. So you were young. How old were you when you kind of started making sales and you thought, oh, right, this is a business?
So I started when I was 16 and he was, I think, 21. So we went on Shark Tank when I was 17 and he was 22. So, before Shark Tank, leading up to it, I started posting on TikTok, and the couple first videos were actually gaining a lot of traction. I was just posting the product and its function and how it fits on a cup, and they would go viral, like a cup, here and there, and they would start going viral. And one of the videos actually made us like $40,000. And so we ended up applying for Shark Tank, and we were able to say, hey, like this video generated $40,000 in sales, which I think really helped us get on the show. And when we were standing in front of the sharks, we had $68,000 in sales, which, to a 17-year-old, you're like, well, I just made $68,000 off of this little invention. Like maybe there is potential here.
Yeah.
So we're standing in front of the sharks. We ended up getting a deal with Lori, and today we've done $7 million in revenue.
Wow.
So, big jump.
Wow. That's incredible. So I take it was Lori the accelerator. Did she like really get things going for you, or how does that work?
So for Shark Tank, you do the whole investment thing. It takes everyone kind of a different amount of time. For us, our deal closed a couple months later. I would say the number one driving factor for us is social media, TikTok, Instagram, just reaching literally millions of people through content. And a lot of times university organizations will see the content, and that's when they reach out to us and order in bulk. So we do a lot of bulk orders to students, like through the health centers or the campus police or the Title IX. So those organizations reach out to us and purchase nightcaps, and that does really well for us. We also do really well on Amazon, do really well on our website, but all of it's generated through content. And then also I would say just like taking what works and like repeating it. And we tried a lot of new things, and when we were starting out, like trying to, like everyone talks about like spending money on marketing. So we were like, okay, let's maybe put some money here and here and here. And it didn't ever work for us. So we were like, let's just take what we know, the organic content that's working. Let's just take it and copy it and paste it and keep on going. So that's really, really done wonders for us. And I think like just learning every day as entrepreneurs and seeing like where can we expand. We go to a lot of conferences. So we do really well at these shows. Like we'll go to like Crimes Against Women conference, or conferences for the military, because the military has a big sexual assault problem. And it's really sad that like these conferences exist, but we're there obviously to help people. So that makes me feel better. But just to know that there's Crimes Against Women conference, I'm like, oh, this is like so sad.
It is really sad, definitely. That I'm currently listening to a crime analyst podcast, a lady from the UK, Laura, her first name is, I forget her surname. But yeah, it's, 98% of sexual violence is against women perpetrated by men. You're like, that's really depressing. That's really, really depressing. So yeah, sadly, these conferences are necessary, definitely. Thanks for listening, everybody. Did you know at TriCrest, we've built a kick-ass culture coach and consultant program? So if you're a business coach or consultant and you're looking for something new, add to your toolbox, or even escape the 9 to 5, join us at our next event. Links in the information on the podcast. See you there. I'm pretty sure your product will have saved lives.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I hope so. There's two different, I mean, there's a lot of instances where people write into us and thank us for maybe a night that they had that went a little bit better because they had a nightcap on their drink. But there's this one Amazon review in particular that always resonates with me. And this girl was at a dark club. She was dancing and then she walked into the better like lit lobby. And she looked down at her drink and she saw like crushed pills on her nightcap.
Oh God.
So she genuinely thinks that it saved her life. I think that if there's one review like that, there's a lot of people out there that potentially that could have happened to.
Yeah.
So, sometimes even in a club, like you can't even see the nightcap actually on the drink. So people will try things because they don't even know it's there.
Right.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is a life-saving product and it's definitely like a business with a purpose. And I think that we just try to find like light in all those situations. Like, because we hear so many scary stories all the time that it's like, we think of it in a different way. Like we are, protecting people and trying to show victims that like they're not alone. Because a lot of times when people are roofied or spiked, they think they're the only person out there that has experienced it. So, our mission is to create this platform where people can go and feel safer and just like connect with other people that have experienced drink spiking.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing that you're doing. Definitely. Are you adding any more products? Are you where are you going to take it? Because those revenues are really impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I think for products at the moment, like we haven't really, nothing's come to mind that's like that makes a lot of sense for us. I think it has to be one of those things where it's like, oh, why didn't we think of this before? It can't just be like, oh, we'll just add this because we want to. So we try to like make it as meaningful as possible and also, make it useful.
Yeah.
So I think the latest product that you could consider a product is we just partnered with an app called Tassa, and we helped bring them to the US, and I believe they are based in the UK or I don't know if it's the UK, but I think it is. Anyway, they created an app for people who have been spiked, and essentially you press a button on the app that says, I've been spiked. And so it can alert people around the area that there's something going on. And there's also like different features, closest hospital nearby. What kind of test do you need right now? And it also, if you press I have been spiked, it'll alert your going out contacts and tell your friends like exactly where you are. Brilliant. So there's a lot of great features on the app. We're just trying to like get that out there, have people download it. Yeah. And like let people know that, it's out there. It's one of those things where you want to get it before something happens. So we're just trying to create like different partnerships where people can kind of have access to safety on all counts. So
That's a really good idea. My friend years and years ago, must be like 15, 20 years ago, she thought she'd been spiked. And she ended up in hospital, and they did all kinds of tests and couldn't find anything. And the only conclusion they came to was that she probably had a drink spiked. But she was lucky to make it. She ended up unconscious on the bathroom floor after falling and hitting her head.
Yeah, it's awful.
You know, so yeah, these things are really real.
It's awful. Yeah. A lot of times they don't even test you at the hospitals.
No.
At least here in like America, like they won't test you at the hospitals unless you've been assaulted. So
right.
Yeah, the system is just extremely flawed. And also the drugs, they leave your system within like a few hours. So
right.
They're sitting in the hospital after you've been drugged. They're sending you to, place an hour away. That's going to take another 5 hours for you to get tested. It's already gone. So a lot of times it's just not even helpful.
No, absolutely. Okay. So, I love this. It's in the UK and the US. Anywhere else in the world that you're selling this? Obviously selling on Amazon, but is that just on the US site? How's this all working?
Yeah, we're definitely on Amazon UK, we're Amazon Europe. We sell in over 40 countries. So we are all over.
Wow.
We sell a lot. We just trying to, get the safety tools that people need in the hands that need them most, and make it as accessible as possible. So that's what we're working on. And we also started a Facebook group pretty recently of people who are just advocating for change on the issue, and victims that have been spiked that want to tell their story or need help with something. So we have this little group. I think it's about to hit like 100 members. So, I obviously it's like very small, but I want to grow it to just like I have some legislators in there, like different reporters. Like I want it to be somewhere that people can go to learn more about the problem. And also just like at these conferences that I go to, I'll have all the nonprofits join the group. So it's like a lot of like safety professionals are in there, and everyone's kind of looking out for each other. So
that's good.
Yeah, that's like a new thing that I'm really excited about as well.
Yeah. At any point when you were growing up, because obviously you started this at 16, which is super young to start a business, was that something you'd thought you'd do when you got older, or what did you think you'd end up doing?
I definitely thought that I would have, like, I always wanted a business of my own. Yeah. And I knew, I don't know, I always watched my parents work a 9-to-5 job, and I was like the kid that was getting picked up late because my parents had to work, or I'd stay after, and like I didn't love watching them like be controlled by someone else. So I always knew that I didn't want to do that. And I also wanted to start something at a super young age. Like I knew that when NightCap came to me in a dream, I was like, this is it for me. Like, this is going to be the thing. I wasn't good in school. So I was very social in school. I was like always like making friends and connecting people to each other, like, which I still do now. Like I love connecting people, but I could never like sit down in a classroom and really like focus on a subject. It just wasn't like, I just wasn't very good at it. I was so bad at math. I would cry in my math class, and I just like, school just wasn't for me. And I think I knew that really young. So I was like, okay, what kind of like creative outlet and, business can I do? I didn't even know what it was going to be. Like, maybe I could be like an actress. I don't even know, but, I always knew, like in the back of my mind. I think you always kind of have a feeling. And when NightCap came, I was like, this is the thing, this is happening. And then, I just like feel like I've kind of grown into a business owner. I think a lot of what stopped me in the beginning from like reaching my potential was like having to think that I would like thinking that there was a certain type of like way that you had to act, like as a female entrepreneur, CEO, like I'm 16 years old with a CEO title and I don't know what I'm doing. I think it held me back a lot because I was like, what am I like? I just felt so insecure about, being so young, not knowing a lot. And I think, I don't think you need to know everything. You actually don't at all. And you don't need all these resources and all this money to start your dream business. Like,
you really don't.
So I talked to a lot of my friends that are female entrepreneurs and they say the same thing. Like, they're like, we started knowing nothing. We started with no resources. Like we just went for it. We just did it. And I think, I just remember like starting and thinking, okay, how am I supposed to act? Like I'm this 16-year-old business owner, but you end up growing into it and you like learn so much along the way that you just make your own version of it.
Absolutely. I love that. You really do. And lucky you for getting to there at such a young age. It took me till my mid-40s to realize that you could just be any kind of business owner you wanted to be. And I don't know whether it's particularly the pressure on women or whether men experience this too, but there was certainly a sort of style or a mold I thought I should fit, and never fitted in really, as a result, until I realized, well, it doesn't really matter. Nobody actually cares. And you just need to do it in your own way. Been a lot happier ever since, which is really nice. So I think that's really good advice for anybody out there at all who thinks they have to fit in. You really don't. It's your business, isn't it? You just make it up as you go along. And if it doesn't work, you do something else.
Yeah. I think it also not fitting in, it helps you embracing that you don't fit in helps you start a business because not everyone's starting a business either. Like,
no.
I was definitely an outcast. Like I didn't do what everyone else was doing, or I wasn't like invited to all the things that people were doing, or like, and I was always like, okay, why am I not getting invited? Or like, why am I different than people? And I feel like it just kind of almost an advantage different, because then, you learn to care less. And when you're a business owner, like you have to make all these decisions and you can't put too much emotion into it. So you have to kind of take the care out a little bit and just like keep going. So
you have to do what's best for the business is what you have to do. And sometimes that means you've got to release people into the wild. You've got to do performance management. You've got to do all that stuff. You're absolutely right. You still care. You just have to care about the business as well as the people.
That's true.
And actually, even when you're moving people on out of the business, you're still caring about people, because if they're not right for your business, I bet they're really miserable in your business. And even if they're not right for your business, they'll be making other people miserable in your business.
You're right. I said it wrong. I said care less. That's actually caring more.
It really is, isn't it? I mean, it seems to maybe outsiders that you're caring less, but it actually really is caring more, because your business supports so many people's households, families, and you have to protect that. And I think if you're not a business owner, it's quite hard to understand that you make the tough decisions because you're protecting the very thing that's giving people livelihoods. And in your case, giving people something that is a safety thing, it's a personal safety thing. That's so important. It really is. Okay, amazing. I love it. So if your business, had a personality or a character, Shirah, either who would it be or how would you describe it?
Ooh. Okay. I think I would describe it. I feel like it would be me. Like,
yeah, sure. You're allowed that.
I feel like I am just the face. So I feel like I am NightCap. Like, how they say business isn't personal. I feel like it so is. And I would describe NightCap as just like a super caring person that would just like puts everything on the table, like cares about, like just does anything for anyone. I feel like, and I'm not even talking about myself right now. I'm just saying, like, as a business personality, just sacrifices so much for other people's well-being, and that's how I would describe her.
Perfect. You put others first and you're there to serve others, which I think is the best job in the world. Actually, it really is. And that, you know, for entrepreneurs out there, the more people you serve and the better you serve them, the wealthier you get. And it's as simple as that. And if you put that way round, then you're also quite a happy human being too, I think.
I love that.
What about your own purpose or your own, I think the Hindus call it dharma, like your destiny. I love the fact that the business idea came to you in a dream, and so many ideas do come up in that unconscious state, definitely. What's your purpose? What do you think's really driving you?
I think my purpose is, like, obviously helping people stay safe, but being like a shoulder for those people. You know, I recently saw this girl on TikTok. She made a whole video about how she took, went to this club. She was targeted by a woman. She saw this woman like looking at her and her friend, didn't think anything of it, went into the club. The woman offered them shots. She took the smallest sip and she was just not even there. She was sweating. She was like not even, just not there. Her friend luckily took her home and she was so sick. But I reached out to her and I was like, do you want to share your story? With any, like, we would give you a platform to share this. It's super important what you're talking about. She was talking a lot about how this particular club had it's a high caliber club, like very famous people go there. And she was saying, even when there's famous people at this place, like you should be even more careful. And when I was talking with her, like just through email, she was like, honestly, I can't share this story anymore because this club is like literally targeting me and they're like, they're like threatening me a little bit. And I was like, I just wanted to be like, I was like, we don't need anything. Like, we don't need you to tear anything. I'm like, do you trying to provide resources for this poor girl? Like, do you need help for, do you need support in any way? Like, who can we reach out to on behalf of you? And she's so thankful. And she said she was crying just because we reached out to her and offered her help and support. And to know that is really crazy to me. And she was like, you're literally one of the nicest people I've met in talking about this situation. And all I've done is just offer her a little bit of support and tell her that she's not alone. And I think that is my purpose, and just being listen, this is obviously happening. We started a whole company because it's happening, and just telling people that this is a real problem and you're not alone, and you you don't deserve this. I think my purpose is just being that shoulder, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. And what a great thing to be, as long as you look after yourself as well. Make sure you don't burn out and you've got support and all of that stuff in place, definitely. And can I just say to that club, whoever you are, what a missed opportunity you had there to talk about how you would clean up the club, how you would make sure people were protected, how you took that attack, which is what it was, seriously, and to demonstrate to the public how you're putting things in place to prevent that in future and to encourage people to report it. What a missed opportunity to actually do something for good instead of threatening somebody who's already been attacked. Shame on you. Shame on you. Yeah, that's not good behavior. Okay.
Unfortunately, it's just how it is now. I think even people I talk to, they're like, oh, so bars must be your number one customer. I'm like,
no,
actually, they don't care. They actually don't care. A lot of them just, don't, if it doesn't make the money, it doesn't matter to them. So you have to look out for yourself nowadays.
Well, if there's an enlightened bar owner, somebody in hospitality out there who sees an opportunity to flip that story and create a different vibe and a different environment, then get in touch either to me and I'll put you in touch with Shirah, or get directly in touch with Shirah, because there's an opportunity here. If other people are zigging, you need to zag.
Love that.
Definitely. Listen, such an important thing that you're doing. I'm gonna make sure my 2 daughters are aware of this product. And now you've told me about my son. He actually works in a bar. He's a barman himself, so I'm going to tell him about it too. Yeah, I'm just going to tell all my friends and family about this. Thank you so much. You've been an amazing guest. Thanks.
Thank you so much for having me.
The Entrepreneurial Journey podcast. We're talking business and building a culture that's kick-ass, where we make it happen. Grab your seat, let's have a blast at the Entrepreneurial Journey.